And coming up next is the gentleman who taught me to play drums.
Really?
All the way back in school. We're talking about Peter Telfer and the Mawasi experience. They celebrate 40 years this year. Let's talk to Peter after. Oh, Peter's on right now. There you go. No break. We just go straight into it. All right. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning, Mawasi.
So many years ago, as a student of Holy Name Convent, I was introduced to drumming and the use of the drum in the liturgy by the legendary Peter Telfer, who's on screen, and the Mawasi experience. Fresh off the block, I remember, Peter, the excitement among us teenagers, because previous to this, it was not the norm to have drums in church, right? But today, Peter, it's like second nature, and I can say that you probably had a lot to do with that over the past 40 years. Correct?
I did my part. And thanks to my dad, who used to say, God give you a gift.
Yes.
When I was 40, no, give you a gift to girls, Peter. Give you a gift to the Lord. God give you a gift. And I've always believed in that, and that struggle of working it. Yes, it was hard. I had priests and people who didn't like the drumming. A priest refused to give me communion and all.
Really?
Yeah, I had a different people, but of course I wouldn't be calling any names, but I'm just saying that God bless them. I had priests who have loved it. And
well, I want to call the name of one priest who sent you a message. That's Vicar General Father Martin Sergiu. He had this to say. He says, I heartily congratulate Mawasi on their 40th anniversary, a milestone indeed, and more than a generation. Many projects are short-lived, but you, that's you, Peter, have stayed the course as a group, no doubt due to your charisma, creativity, endurance, and strength of faith. You have done your part, and you have left behind a priceless legacy. And that was just part of an entire letter that he said to you. How did you feel to receive such a commendation, really, from the Vicar General?
Emotional, actually, really, because it's just emotional. And that's saying, I mean, for all these past 14 years, I mean, 40 it seemed like 14.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy what I do. I enjoy my gift. I enjoy connecting with God. And I know it is hard. Some people don't understand. And I thank those who are already there and who believed in it, especially the early coordinators, really, like Kathy and Bess, Philip Granham, who are away, Joseph Phillips, who died, people who passed away. But of course, the longest serving members, Rianne Marie Extavor, now Dr. Extavor. Neon Julie Niles, keyboardist, where Rianne does the guitar, and so David Charles, David Charles. Right. Nicole, who does the background work. And of course, Dawood.
Yes, he's there in the picture.
Dawood was there from the very first meeting with Mawasi, and has always stayed and assisted us, along with people like Roger Israel, who does all our recordings. You know, so I want to thank them. They are there over 20 years, really. So, and working with them, and they helping me to look at myself and my dear friends, the people who sew my clothes, Merle Friday.
So Peter, what would you consider the legacy of Mawasi experience? It's 40 years. So I remember in the early days, you know, you're thinking to the future, what is it going to be like? And it's sort of creating and birthing. But looking back now, 40 years, what would you consider the legacy of the group?
It's about people for me. How do we fall in love with our Caribbeanness? You know, I call it Caribbean Emmanuelity. We always measure ourselves by foreign. Okay, that is one way. But as my dad used to remind me and say, God didn't come only for foreign people. God is wherever you are. Oh, Creator is loving it. And that's all I used to sing walking to school, literally. Because a family of 8, blessings to all my siblings. And I used to sing that with nature. Oh, Creator and loving and tender. And that was really important. That helped me, because I struggle with feeling unloved and accepted, and people calling you're weird. Why you're dressing with that? He's not African. And oh my gosh, we had it bad. We learned it bad, right? So it's really, only God could really heal you. And using the rhythms and the drums made you feel, because it was a joy, right? When people come and say, wow, they could relate with it. Because beyond what we were taught, you know, that something was wrong. You know, when you were growing up, cowboys and Indians, I would tell people, answer fast. Who are the bad guys? People would say the Indians. And then as you grow up, you realize the bad guys were the cowboys trying to take away. So in a sense, we learned it bad about ourselves. We are now trying to get into that, of appreciating the beauty of what we are. We have to sift for the good, because we're in the land of choice. But there's good in us. There's good in our culture. There's good in our ancestors struggled, and people of Haiti, they realize that we look down on a lot of the things, the Orishas and the Baptists and things. But they were giving God the best of who they are. And in the church has a lot to take a fault here, as everything. There's wherever there are humans, there's faults.
Yeah.
But wherever there's faults, there's God's love, the victory of God's love and beauty. And holding on to that, the legacy would be, hey, let's find the good in us, sift for the gift within us as Trinidadians, as Trinbagonians, as Caribbean people. Sift for us in friendship, believe in each other. You know, that's why I believe in outreach. I just did some great work in Balantra with Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca, a drummer. I mean, she was shocked, as everybody was, that I came quite a bit. The road was kind of challenging.
Yeah.
But she went from not wanting to do work to feeling convinced about her gift in God. Right? Rebecca Cecilia, you know, bless you. And it symbolized that is what is important. When I lie down in my deathbed, God and go ask me, Peter, he go ask you, what you did with the gift?
Yeah. Well, you did a lot, you know, Peter. You did a lot with your gift. You introduced so many young people to the gift of music, dramology, and church as well, in a different way, in a form that, you know, made it seem palatable to teenagers who probably were thinking, I don't want to be here right now. And you opened up a whole new world, and still continue to. Now, some of the things, you know, if you're talking 40 years, some of the iconic memories, playing in the Mass for the Pope, Pope John Paul II, when he came to Trinidad and Tobago. That was a big one.
Wow,
wasn't it?
5th of February, 1985.
You remember the exact name?
I do. Yeah, because it was, in hindsight, everybody go off on it now. But it was a painful time for me, you know.
Really?
And us, because I could say it now, and with being as delicate, but that's to draw the issue. People didn't want the drums. Somebody higher, senior people who were part of the stage of it. I'm trying to use the most diplomatic and most vague thing, because I just want to stick to the issue, not the personality.
Yeah.
That they didn't want the drums, and Brother Pascal Jordan from the Mount OSB music man, along with somebody like Father Rochad, Brother Pascal is now in Guyana, where he's from. He said, he insisted, no, we're going to have the drums, and we're going to have this piece of music, the O Creator, by Peter Telfer Mawasi Experience.
Yeah, that's a seminal piece.
And of course, it became a wonderment.
Yeah.
How it was, and because we practiced it well, we did it, and how people connected with it. And of course, every place I went after that was Archbishop Panton, bless his soul, and the then President, Sir L.S. Clark. They would always call me out, come, this is the man with the drums, with the wee pope, and I say,
and the
wow.
conchs. You know, Peter, this carnival we had the conchs, right? But you're the original conch man with at the beginning of O Creator.
Yes.
Yeah,
I studied that when I heard it actually as well.
And traveling through the Caribbean and beyond. Tell us a bit about that and the group.
Yeah, well, from when I was much younger, I played in Holy Name Choir with Michael Steele, Geraldine Connor, bless his soul. Yeah. And I went on tour. I went Austria, I went England.
Oh, you were on that Austria tour? You know, I was kicked out of the choir like 2 weeks. Good morning, Mr. Michael Steele. I was kicked out of the choir like 2 weeks before the tour, you know. That's another story. Yeah. So you went to Vienna. That was a huge tour for the choir.
And I was just saying that to highlight, I'm saying this delicately, before I went to the tour, they sat me down.
Yes.
This tour is serious business. We know you will have your way. We want you to go along. As if I was a big troublemaker. But because
of the drum.
Because of the drum.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And do you know, after the first couple of days, when they saw the work, you know, he would actually put on a shirt and tie, just to go along humble, Mr. He said, Peter, you could wear what you want. He said, you do great. And he put me in a segment alone on the tour.
Wow.
And because of it, and then I became such a thing that one day when the girls left her scarf, and he called me on stage, Peter Telfer, come here. I seen it over there. Come here. Stand up here in the middle with this big choir and foreigners. He said, look at Peter Telfer. Look at all those drums he have. All them tips. He never lose one thing. But you have a scarf and you losing your scarf. He said, shame, I should send you back home. He said, thank you, Peter.
But speaking about loss, though, there was a painful period, I remember, when Mawasi lost all of its instruments.
January 1999. I can't forget it because that was the same month Daddy died, my hero. He died the 8th of January 1999. All right. And that same month, I think when I was in that whole grievance, they came and they broke in and stole everything. Oh, good. The only thing I had was a drum that I had on me. I actually had a drum with me.
Yeah.
And that is how they said that. And I had to thank, well, that was a defining period for Mawasi. From that era, I would say, well, Rian started getting involved. I saw this girl shaking her kabasa, not knowing this girl looking at this man drumming away. And she was actually the one who started back buying instruments from Mawasi. That's why I will always treasure her and then Neon and them. That's why that's what nearly 20 years now. They're the longest serving and they got into it and supported and built back. So I always treasure them and Neon and David, and they're seeing God and working on it, and I hope that they continue to do it, not for Peter Telfer, but that for leave a legacy that your life in God can make a difference. And this is us 40 years later. Wow.
I can't believe it, huh? Wow.
Yes.
But Peter, now with COVID-19 and the churches are closed, previous to that, persons who wanted to celebrate the Eucharist with Mawasi experience went to Sacred Heart, I believe, every third
every
or
last
fourth,
Sunday,
every last Sunday. So what's happening now? What's happening now?
Christian prayer.
What's happening now?
What is happening now? In a strange way, I keep telling people, again, let me be ready protocol and say this diplomatically. COVID come, the church ain't dead, you know. God ain't dead. He has taken on a new life. As I always tell people, when you're passing by a gas station, the cars not living in the gas station, right? They fill up and they be roadworthy. Church is meant to us to get the source and summit of our faith, yes. But it's meant to be, you're meant to be life worthy, to live it. So the journey continues. It is now a new way to keep doing. I kind of say my recent reaching out in Balandra. We have to keep sharing our faith. We now have to live it purposefully. A lot of us living in church, but church not living in us and through us. We're looking at crime and all that. All of us are affected by crime. But these are young men who searching, who are people who have no one, who are longing.
Yeah.
Gangs flourish because the power of God's love has not flourished as powerfully as through all of us, through the work we all do, through people like you, Lisa doing your part, through Mawasi, through the effort. So COVID, we may have taken on a different dimension, but God is still Lord, the same yesterday, today, and forever.
Yes.
And we have to be empowered by that. What can we do to keep reaching out? It's a chance for us to keep reaching out in God to friends who we know, to people who are there, to other choirs, other musicians, to keep creating, to keep working on self and being the better self with God and others, you know.
Peter, final words as we wrap. What's your vision for the future now? It's 40 years. What's your vision? I have to give you 30 seconds because we're about to close the show.
Well, in the next 40 years when I'm here, I'm in the ground. I just want to bless everybody. I want to tell you all thank you. And there's a thank you card for you, all a virtual thank you. And thanks to all the others who have made Mawasi, who have been there for me and all my dear friends. I couldn't do this as Peter Telfer, but it's all of us in God, working in God with the help of God. We are all weak, but God is always strong. He who is mighty does great things. So thank you all. I love you. Thank you. It's emotional. Wow.
We love you, Peter, and thank you for your contribution to Trinidad and Tobago, the wider Caribbean, and the world, really, because your music has, it has transcended boundaries 40 years on. So thank you so much, Peter Telfer. If you were here, I'd give you a big hug, right?